How was that experience, and what was the cause of that particular assassination?
You have the cause. The cause obviously has to do with my position, my public position vis-a-vis his administration. And remember, I told you how seriously I take my parliamentary work. So whenever I stood up to say something about the government and its policies and the president and whatever, I would really rip him up. And so they tried to intimidate me through this lawfare, through this warfare through the courts. It didn't work. And then they decided that maybe the best way of silencing me is to getting rid of me physically. And that is what led up to the assassination attempt. Now, on the day I was shot, on the day of the shooting, Magufuli was addressing the nation on television, live television. Magufuli loved live television. He loved to hog, public limelight, media limelight. So in this speech, he was talking about his mining policies and so on and so forth. And I had denounced his mining policies in and out of parliament vociferously. So he said in his speech that those who oppose our economic war, he said he was waging an economic war. So those who oppose the government when it is in an economic war do not deserve to survive. Those are his exact words. Na Magufuli alikuwa na Kiingereza kibaya sana. Lakini haya maneno do not deserve to survive ni maneno yake ya Kiingereza. Wale wanaopinga serikali wakati tuko kwenye vita ya kiuchumi do not deserve to survive. And then he added that, this guy who is so noisy, who is always criticizing the government, we have followed him up, we have checked, we looked into his communication. He is always communicating with these mining executives, asking for this or that information, It was complete fabrication, complete fabrication. The mining companies were my public enemies number one. But he was making a case to justify the assassination attempt. It hadn't happened before. It hadn't happened yet. So he said, huyu jamaa anayepiga kelele huyu tumemfuatilia kwenye mawasiliano yake. He is always anawasiliana na makampuni ya madini, anauliza nipe taarifa hii, nipe information, And then he said, wale wanaotupinga kwenye vita ya uchumi do not deserve to survive. 2 hours later,
the assassination happened.
Yeah.
16 bullets.
16 bullets. What happens? Niko bungeni. Morning session imeisha around saa 7 hivi. Basi nikaenda kula. Mimi nakula nyumbani. I love my ugali. So my driver picked me up from parliament. Tukawa tunakwenda nyumbani. And I was living in this heavily guarded government housing compound, ambako wanakaa waheshimiwa wakubwa, mawaziri, deputy speaker, naibu jirani yangu hapo na nini. It's a heavily guarded, it's a gated community. 24/7 kuna ulinzi na CCTV na. So driver kanichukua, tunakwenda nyumbani. It's like 15 minutes away. Then along the way, my driver kaniambia kuna watu wanatufuata. Kuna magari mawili nyuma yanatufuata. So nikaangalia nyuma hivi, kweli kuna
magari.
Toyota Land Cruiser na Mitsubishi. Kuna Mitsubishi fulani ndogo ndogo hivi ziko kama RAV4 but ni Mitsubishi, ni SUV, ziko nyuma yetu. Tukislow down wana slow down, tukikata kona hivi wanakata kona. Sasa nikawa nazungumza na dereva wangu, namwambia mbona wiki hii sijasema chochote cha najua ni mapolisi, mbona wiki hii sijasema chochote cha kuwaudhi hawa watu? Why are they following me? Because I knew it was the police. I had been followed around everywhere I went by these security types everywhere, all over, for several months. So I'm talking with my driver, anambia twende. The most they can do, the most that they've always done really, is arrest me and then watanipeleka mahakamani, or maybe I'll spend a day or two in prison, and then normally inaishia mahakamani, nashtakiwa, shughuli, kazi inaendelea. So that is what we were talking with my driver. Then tumefika kwenye mahali napoishi. As I said, this is a government housing compound, 24/7 secure. On this particular day, geti iko wazi. Ile geti huwa inafungwa na kunakuwa na walinzi wawili watatu pale, armed. Kwa hiyo ukifika huwezi ukaingia mpaka unasimamisha gari, wanakuangalia hewe nani, then wanakufungulia, unaenda kwako. On this particular day, gate iko wazi, wide open, na hakuna mlinzi. So, I did not link it with hawa watu ambao wananifuata, lakini just this is not usual, you know. Basi tukapita. Haya magari yaliyokuwa yananifuata, hili lab immediately behind me, wakapaki pembeni just before the gate. Ile iliyokuwa nyuma akaingia na mimi. Kwa wako nyuma yangu hapa. Tukaongozana hivyo mpaka kwenye my apartment block. It's a big apartment complex, a big apartment block. It has a big parking lot. It is most often empty of cars. But on this particular day, kuna magari mengi tu. Nafikiri watu walikuwa wamerudi kwa lunch mapema. Kwa hiyo kulikuwa na magari yamejaa. Kuna one parking slot left. We took that one. Kwa hao waliokuwa nyuma yangu hapa, wakaenda upande huu wanatafuta mahali pa kupark, hakuna, kuna magari. Wakaja upande huu wanatafuta vile kuna magari. Nafikiri walikuwa wanataka wa park parallel na mimi ili wapate direct line of fire. So they didn't get that. Kwa hiyo wakawa wana maneuver nyuma hapa. Driver akaniambia, hebu usitoke kwanza tuone wanataka nini. Kwa nikakaa I remained in my seat. Then they maneuvered, wakageuza gari kuangalia tulikotoka. Then they just stopped just behind my car. Wakasubiri kidogo. Na mimi nimekaa kwenye gari. Nafikiri wanafikiria hivi, wanasubiri hivi, nitoke nje, I would have been cut to pieces. Sikutoka. Sasa mmoja kati yao, gari ina tint, sio, ni tinted. Kwa uwezo ukawaona ndani. Nikaona akatoka mmoja kwenye back seat, akaenda upande wa passenger side kwa mbele, akasema kitu kidogo hivi, and then akarudi kwenye gari, and then within a flash akatoka na mwingine akatoka upande wa pili, wanabunduki, and they let fly. It was ugly. It was wakapiga then wakakimbia. Kwa haya magari yote yaliyokuwa yapo hapa wakashoot matairi yote pamoja na gari yangu ili kuhakikisha kwamba
hakuna gari itakutoa.
Hakuna gari itanitoa. Basi sasa kule nyumbani kwangu, nyumba yangu iko second floor. My housemaid dada Amina aliyekuwa ananisubiri nipande juu tukale chakula, akatupe chakula, akasikia hizi kelele za nini, this burst of gunfire. Kwa hiyo akatoka nyumbani kuja balcony kuangalia what's going on, na akawaona driving away. Then of course she saw what had happened na nini. Wakatoka anapiga kelele, kaja chini. Then my driver had jumped out when the shooting started. Aliruka akakimbia. Kwa hiyo dada Amina alivyoanza kupiga kelele vile, driver wangu akarudi. Then waka nini, I didn't lose consciousness. I was just, I was just smashed to pieces. Sasa kwa jirani, block ya jirani anaishi deputy speaker. Now housemaid wa deputy speaker used to work at my apartment. Alikuwa my housemaid kwenye bunge lililopita. Kwa dada Amina akakimbia sasa kwa deputy speaker kwenda kwa huyu dada aliyekuwa anafanya kazi kwangu before. Akaenda akaambia huyo dada alikuwa na gari, twende, kaka amepigwa risasi na watu wamekimbia. So she akaleta gari, wakanipakia na watatu, then wakanikimbiza hospitali.
So hizi bullet zote zilikuwa kwenye mkono ama ni mpaka kwa mwili?
Nilikuwa smashed sana. Smashed kwenye mguu wa kushoto hapa, smashed kwenye huu mkono, unaona yani sijui nifanyaje, kuna kovu kubwa hapa, unaona
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Unaona, all this was just blasted open. Hapa wali extract one bullet from nani kwenye tip ya elbow. Kwenye mkono huu, this was smashed. Nina chuma kirefu kinaanzia hapa mpaka huku. Smashed here. This leg took the good number of bullets. Smashed here. Nilikuwa nafikiri kwamba kwenye hip, this hip was basically smashed, the hip bone. I've always thought kwamba kulikuwa na 2 bullets zilizotokea hapa. Juzi nimepata the wallet that I had that day ina 4 bullet holes.
What?
Kwa hiyo kuna risasi 4 zilitokea hapa. Kidonda hiki cha kwenye hip kilikuwa kikubwa hivi. It took months hapa Nairobi Hospital yani Dr. Mongera, my good friend, alikuwa anasema hicho kidonda ni kikubwa, unaweza ukaingiza mkono,
Wow.
And other bullets, went into my tummy. Sikupigwa risasi tumboni directly. Nilipigwa huku miguuni, but they ended up in the tummy. Okay. Na tumboni walitoa Dodoma walitoa risasi 1, hapa walitoa risasi 6 tumboni. Wakatoa ya 7 hapa kwenye elbow, na nyingine imebaki somewhere here kwenye the small of my back, just below the spinal cord. Kwa hiyo madaktari hapa waliniambia kwamba it is safer there.
Safe.
It is safer. If we try to remove it, you may never walk.
Yeah.
Kwa hiyo ipo.
And how has been the recovery journey so far?
So after nikapelekwa Dodoma, I was still conscious. Mpaka hospitali, kwa naambia driver wangu mpigie fulani, mpigie mwenyekiti Mbowe, piga kwa nani. Then nimefika Dodoma, nikaingizwa theater. Baada ya hapo, I woke up in Nairobi 7 days later.
What 7? 7 days.
7 days later, yeah. 6 days. Because I woke up on the 13th of September. I was shot on the 7th.
When all this was happening, as you watched yourself being shot, did you imagine you'd survive?
You don't even have time to think about those nice thoughts that and I will survive. No, you don't think. It is so. The sound of gunfire is so bad. It is so loud. You don't think. It happened. I just remember that sheer noise. The sheer noise.
And then you came to Nairobi hospital.
I was brought here. I was completely unconscious. As I said, I woke up after 6 days. And nikaambiwa niko Nairobi. Nikaambiwa what happened. Then the recovery process began. It was very difficult here in Nairobi. Ile operation ni siku ya kwanza nilipoletwa. I was having cardiac arrest, sina damu, sina nini. The doctors operated me, walini-operate kwa masaa 11. 11 hours. They managed to patch me up. And then in the course of the 4 months that I was here, I had 17 surgeries. So 17. 17 is a Nairobi hospital. Yeah. And then tano tumboni. So I have a big line from kitovuni mpaka katikati ya tumbo hapa. Na hapa vile vile. This leg now has had 11 surgeries. Kwenye mkono hapa, huu mkono kuna 2 surgeries, kuna hapa, it's juzi 2 weeks ago nimefanyiwa hii surgery number 25. 25.
But so you're still alive.
I'm still alive and kicking.
And kicking.
Yeah, here I am.
So how would you describe where we are now, fast forward to now? How is the recovery journey?
Well, it has been fantastic, I should say. It has been very good. I got the best medical care I could hope for, both here in Nairobi as well as in Belgium. In Belgium, I've had 8 surgeries thus far. 8. 7 on this leg. In Nairobi, they did it 4 times. In Belgium, they've done it now 7 times. This is the 8th. I still have 1 to go in September. And baada ya hapo, hopefully,
you'll be good to go.
I've been good to go for quite a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Nimekuja. This is my 3rd time in Nairobi since January 2018.
Great.
I was here in November of 2019. Then I came back here last year, January. Nikaenda Makueni. Kule Ukambani. So this is my 3rd time in Nairobi since I left Nairobi Hospital in January of 2018.
Okay.
So I'm good.
You're good. I actually see you're good. I can tell you're good.
Yeah.
From that whole experience, have you forgiven the people who are behind this?
Forgiven is not we use it all the time, but I don't think we really ask ourselves tunazungumza kitu gani. Forgiveness is sought. Forgiveness is asked for. It comes with a penance. Someone has to do a confession. Ndio maana tukienda kanisani huwa tunasema nimekosa mimi, nimekosa sana. Ndio maana nawaomba ndugu zangu mnisamehe, na Bwana Mungu na wewe unisamehe. you have to confess. You have to tell the truth about your sins. So at least unatakiwa usamehewe ukiwa umeomba msamaha, ukiwa umeeleza makosa yako. Sasa mimi sifahamu mtu aliyenishambulia. Niliwaona vijana wawili, early 30s, you know. I don't know their names. Maybe if I meet them on the streets, I would not recognize them. I don't know who sent them to kill me. Why? I don't know. Nafikiria tu kwa sababu ya politics zangu. Of course, in the period after nimejifunza mambo mengi sana. But there has never been any person who has come forward and said, Mr. Lissu, mimi ndiye niliyefanya hivi. Au kama sio yeye, angalau mtu mwingine, serikali, ambayo naamini, given all the available information. It was Magufuli who ordered my assassination. Yeah. Na akafanya nikanyimwa matibabu. Mimi nilikuwa mbunge, nimeshambuliwa bungeni. Sheria ya Tanzania inasema mbunge anatibiwa kwa gharama ya bunge, ndani ya nchi au nje ya nchi. That's the law. Na Rais Magufuli prevented me getting my medical benefits. I have it in writing from the clerk of the National Assembly. Hatuwezi tukakutibu kwa sababu Rais Magufuli hajaidhinisha malipo ya hiyo pesa. I have it in writing.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, whom do I forgive? Ni nani ndio nimsamehe? Ametubu madhambi yake wapi? Mpaka leo, neither the police or the government itself has ever said who did it. Wanasema hawajui. They don't even have a suspect. They've never made a single arrest. They have never interviewed. Hata mimi, hakuna. I have never been interviewed by the police.
So you don't know who to forgive.
Sasa namsamehe nani? Hii habari ya samehe kama Mandela. Mandela aliunda tume ya ukweli na upatanishi ya Bishop Desmond Tutu. Sio kwamba watu walisamehewa tu. There was the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. People went before the tume. They confessed their crimes. They told it all. That the law establishing the Truth and Reconciliation Commission stated that if you tell lies to the commission, you will go to prison. If you refuse to testify, you will go to prison. But if you tell the truth, everything, all but the truth, then unasamehewa. Sasa hawa wanaotaka msamaha ni kina nani?
Hawajaongea.
Hawajatubu.
Sadly. So now hatujui wa kusamehe ni nani.
Kama wametubu kwa Mungu wao, sawa. Hiyo kwa Mungu wao wasamehe. Lakini mimi nahitaji truth, nahitaji justice.
That's true.
Ili nisamehe.
Great. Yeah. And now fast forward, Tanzania now has a new president, so to say. It's still new, it's still a few months in.
Yes.
What's your relationship with Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu, and how would you rate her as a president?
I worked with Samia Suluhu Hassan for 5 years before she became vice president. She was in parliament. She was a cabinet minister, actually. Now, in those 5 years, she was reporting to my parliamentary committee, because I was shadow minister for justice and constitutional affairs, and she was Minister of State in the Vice President's office in charge of union matters. She reported to our committee. And so for 5 years, I worked fairly closely with her. I gave her a hard time. Like I said, I was such a loud MP who always did his homework. And so I gave her a lot of hard time. But through those 5 years, I got to know her fairly well. Very soft-spoken, very ni shangazi fulani, you know. Kwangu mimi kwa sababu hawezi akawa ni dada yangu, okay? Soft spoken, nice, should be your favorite aunt, and she doesn't get upset. There were so many reasons to be upset with me because, like I said, I used to give her a lot of her time. And when I was shot, when I was here in Nairobi, this is the time President Uhuru Kenyatta is getting inaugurated to serve his second term. So Samia Suluhu Hassan, the vice president, came to Nairobi to participate in the festivities, and she took time to come to see me in hospital. She's the only government official of any consequence who came to see me in hospital. She is the only CCM member of any consequence who came to see me. And that is very important because I know, and I've been told by reliable sources, that she was severely castigated for coming to see me in hospital. Because by doing so, she was basically acknowledging the fact that I had been, you know, I mean, something terrible. Magufuli didn't want to even talk about it, you know, and so coming here to see me was an act of courage on her part. Kwa hiyo namfahamu hivyo. Now she's the president. And what is the scorecard after the first 100 days yesterday? And my answer to that is I was, until yesterday, I was very positive. But yesterday she spoke to the editors, editors of Tanzanian newspapers and media generally. And I think whatever guarded optimism that I had about her disappeared yesterday after her meeting with the journalists. Because in that meeting, she said that for 5 years, we in political opposition were prohibited from doing any public meetings or rallies, you name it, completely illegally. You know, for 5 years, no one held a public meeting. And we suffered, our people were killed, we were jailed, we were tortured, I was nearly killed. And yesterday she said that illegal ban continues. In 2014, we tried to write a new constitution for the country. And we had a constituent assembly in which Samia Suluhu Hassan was the vice chairperson. That constitution-making process was eventually shut down by the ruling party, by CCM and President Kikwete then. She has a unique opportunity to bring that process back in order to give the country a new constitution that it deserves. And yesterday, she dashed all those hopes by saying that it is not her priority. Her priority ni kujenga uchumi ambao umetetereka. Sasa, only a few months ago, kabla Magufuli hajafa, yeye na Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan na serikali yao walikuwa wanatamba nchi nzima kwamba Tanzania tuna uchumi mkubwa, uchumi wetu unapaa, tumekuwa a middle income country, we are doing fine. Now the president is telling us we cannot have political rights, we cannot enjoy our constitutional rights and freedoms because uchumi umetetereka, inabidi ajenge uchumi, ndio baadaye on an undisclosed time and date and whatever, ndio pengine kutakuwa huo uhuru wa sisi kufanya kazi za kisiasa ambazo zinakubaliwa na katiba na sheria za Tanzania.
And in line with that,
yes.
So now, from her announcement,
yes.
Are you planning to get back to politics in Tanzania?
I never stopped being in politics, and I never will. With regard to elective politics, we have said before yesterday, now it is even stronger. We had said after last year's travesty of an election, we said there is no way that our party will participate in future elections with the current constitution and election laws as they are. So for us, the priority now, the order of the day now is katiba mpya, katiba mpya, katiba mpya. Because there cannot be any talk of participating in future elections
with the
current constitution.
All right.
Well, the struggle now is kumwambia Mama Suluhu, tutapambana na wewe. We thought you were sensible. Kumbe sasa ni Magufulism without Magufuli. We'll join battle with her.
You're joining battle?
We're joining battle with her.
All right. And as we finish up about the politics of Tanzania,
yes.
What's your take or feel of the politics of the country, Kenya?
Kenyan politics have always been very hot. The Kenyan people have always taken their politics very seriously. And that is very much unlike the people of Tanzania or the people of Uganda for that matter. I think Ugandans are slightly different from Tanzanians in that sense. But the Kenyan people have always been very, very active politically throughout Kenya's history, colonial as well as post-colonial. Kenyan people have always fought for democracy. During the difficult years of Kenyatta I, when he destroyed the opposition between 64 to 69, basically Kenyatta made Kenya a de facto one-party state, changed the constitution on a daily basis to amass power to himself. The Kenyan people always resisted. During the Moi years, in fact, I love to say that one of the reasons I became a lawyer and this militant activist was because I was inspired by the democratic struggles of Kenyan people. My heroes were people like Gitobwi Manyara, James Orengo, Paul Muite, Gibson Kamau Kuria, the bishops, Timothy Njoya, yes. Kipsang Muge. Kenyans have this rich tradition of not taking nonsense from those in power. And that makes Kenyan politics very, very lively. Kenyans have fought for their rights for a long time. And you take your rights very, very seriously. Yeah. Kwa hiyo, we in Tanzania, those of us who have been in this fight for democracy all these years, we have always looked upon Kenya for inspiration.
So there is great admiration for the Kenyan politics.
Absolutely, absolutely. For the Kenyan people. And kwa hiyo, when I was telling you earlier that I always come to Nairobi and to Kenya, and it's always very emotional because not just because you people saved my life, but because of your love of how seriously you take yourselves and your civic responsibilities.
Yes.
Of course, kuna matatizo.
Mengi,
hakuna ni nchi gani isiyokuwa na matatizo?
Hamna kabisa.
Matatizo yapo. Kwenye pamoja na katiba mpya na nini, you have matatizo. Yes. Yapo.
Yes.
Siku tukifa ndio matatizo yataisha.
Kweli.
Kwa hiyo I don't worry about matatizo. Najua yapo na yatakuwepo. But the most important thing that has always given me hope for the people of Kenya is because of this rich tradition of struggle. And it is very important. Your media scene, you have the Kenyan media scene is probably one of the most vibrant in the continent. Hamna tofauti na Nigerians. Nigeria is also very noisy. The Nigerian media is very, very noisy. Nigerian politics are very vibrant. South African media, South African politics is very vibrant. Kwa hiyo katika continent, you are up there.
Kenya is up there.
You are up there.
And one of the reasons you keep saying that also is because, again, that whole friendliness and vibrancy of the country, you came in the country to launch a book.
I could only do it here.
Why were you launching here, and what is the book about?
I could only launch my book here because of what I've just said. This is a place where you can say things which you wouldn't otherwise say in Kampala, kwa sababu watu wa Museveni watakufuata, wale wanaovaa balaclava.
Yeah.
You cannot say those things in Dar es Salaam or Arusha because watu wa Magufuli au wa Samia Suluhu Hassan watakufuata. But you can say the things here in Kenya because Kenya and Kenyans have a respect for media freedoms. They respect freedom of expression and freedom of opinion.
Fantastic.
I
want you just to tell us
yes.
in a minute, because I know we are running out of time, as I can see.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have the book with us, and also you can tell us in a shell what the book is about.
This book, Asante. This book is Remaining in the Shadows, Parliament and Accountability in East Africa. It tells the story of our parliaments. It tells our parliamentary history. Now, it is not just a story of mabunge and our bunge na nini. It is about our politics and our constitutional politics. So if you go through the book, there is, there are 5 chapters, 5 or 6 chapters on Kenya, 5 or 6 chapters on Tanzania, and 5 or 6 chapters on Uganda. It tells the Kenyan story kwa namna ambayo unaweza ukashangaa huyu MTZ vipi anajuaje mambo ya
ya Kenya.
Mambo ya Kenya.
All right.
So it is the story of our East African countries. It is a story of us East Africans, our political story, our parliamentary story. It has quite a few choicy things to say about our wazee. It has quite a few choicy things to say about Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Na mambo ya miaka ya hamsini. Actually, the first mention that there is here of Kenyatta is, I think, of 1932. He is writing a letter to the Times of London in which he is demanding that of the Kenyan Legislative Council. Hakukuwa na Waafrika, mlikuwa hamruhusiwi, you are too uncivilized kuwa wabunge. So Kenyatta writes this letter. It's 1930, not 32. 1930. He writes a letter to the Times of London in 1930, and he's arguing that native interests in Kenya can only be articulated by native representatives. Sio na wazungu. Waafrika wa Kenya wakati ule wa bunge la kikoloni waliokuwa wanawakilisha wa Afrika walikuwa wazungu wa missionary, Christian missionaries. So you had official members walioteuliwa na governor na nini. You had unofficial members walioteuliwa vile vile na governor, among whom were Christian missionaries to represent African natives. Asa Kenyatta 1930 anasema that's nonsense. Sisi hatuwezi tukazungumziwa na hawa wazungu wanatufahamu sisi.
All right.
So it is I'll autograph it for you.
Ah, fantastic.
Write,
I like
some,
that.
I'll
give you my pen to do that.
Yeah. So it is a history of us and of our countries and of our leaders and our parliaments. It tells you, and this I found very fascinating. The new constitution of Kenya, the current constitution of 2010, is actually on its basic structure is the Independence Constitution of 1963. Hii Senate
was there.
Ni Senate ya 1963. These counties, hakuwa na counties then, kulikuwa na majimbo. Okay?
Yes.
But you had a devolution in 1963. Kenya's independence constitution was a devolved constitution. Na baada ya safari ndefu ya miaka karibu 56 actually, mkarudi pale pale mlikoanzia kwenye katiba ambayo ina devolve substantially. Of course kuna mambo mapya mengi vile vile. Lakini kuna vitu vingi ambavyo vya msingi kabisa vya independence constitution ambayo Kenyatta hakuipenda kabisa. Kenyatta mkubwa na alisema yeye na Odinga walikuwa chama kimoja. Hii KANU ilikuwa ni chama cha Wakikuyu na Wajaluo. Kenyatta alisema wakiwa Lancaster House, anasema wacheni waandike hii katiba, tukiingia madarakani tutabadilisha kila kitu.
And so Kenyans can read the book. Don't spill everything so they can buy the book. Is the book available in our local bookshops?
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Mimi sifanyi marketing.
Yeah, but there's a distribution method in the country. Yes. Fantastic. So guys, I hope you can get yourself
let me autograph it for you.
As I get my book autographed, this is a fantastic place to end the show. I hope you learned a thing or two from this person who's so rich in knowledge, both local and international. And hopefully we will catch you again next Sunday. We might be global this time. You never know. So stay tuned. Sunday, 8 p.m. My name is Sarah Mwangi. This is The Hot Seat.